Well, good morning and welcome to Morning Gospel Fuel with Mr. G. It is Tuesday, July 6th, the 14th Tuesday of Ordinary Time, and it is the feast day of Saint Maria Goretti, who was a young saint, a young girl. She is a virgin and martyr of the faith from Italy in the late 1800s, and she preferred to being stabbed to death as opposed to being raped. Um, and so she died in 1902 at just 12 years old. So if you can imagine um, the quality of job that her parents gave her in raising her, to have such a deep faith to defend her virginity, and accept the crown of martyrdom um, from God the Father. So that's as we go through the gospel today, um, and then the reflection on the Word among us. I think it's something we should pay attention to in whatever state of life we're in regard to the gospel, which we should get into. So today's gospel is from Matthew chapter 9, verses 32 through 38. Let's begin in the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit. Amen. As they were going out, a demoniac who could not speak was brought to him. And when the demon was driven out, the mute person spoke. The crowds were amazed and said, "Nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel." But the Pharisees said, "He drives out demons by the prince of demons." Jesus went around to all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, and curing every disease and illness. At the sight of the crowds, his heart was moved with pity for them, because they were troubled and abandoned, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest." So the master of the harvest, of course, is God the Father and Jesus Christ himself, our true shepherd. And we got the Word among us now. Because I think oftentimes people automatically think to send out laborers for his harvest, he automatically means priests and religious and preachers and stuff like that. But it's whatever vocation you are called to accomplish and be on this earth. So as you can see, and as the motto of Saint Maria Goretti, like her parents, they were laborers for the harvest. And so was, of course, Maria Goretti, who gave up her life for the harvest, just in a different route. Um, so we're all called to be laborers as Christians. So the meditation today says, "The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest." Have you ever wrestled with God? In today's first reading, we read about how Jacob wrestled a man all night long, not knowing until the end that the man was really an angel of God. This wrestling match might seem like an enduring side story in Jacob's life, but it actually came at a decisive moment in his life. He was about to meet his estranged brother, Esau, after years apart, and Jacob knew he had to face up to the way that he had cheated his brother out of his birthright. Just as Jacob experienced in today's first reading, we can have our own wrestling matches with God, especially when it comes to accepting his plan for us. There are probably many times when we have felt moved with pity for someone who is struggling in life, but we feel a conflict between wanting to do more and fearing that it would be too demanding, or we feel a conflict between reaching out and helping someone and staying at a safe, uninvolved distance. We don't want to risk our comfort or our reputation or our status, or any number of things. When you find yourself wrestling with God, try to remember that you are called only to try your best and to leave the rest to him. You won't solve world hunger overnight, and you certainly won't mend a decades-old feud with just one email. But you can do something. You can step forward in faith and make an attempt. God has plans for you, just as he had plans for Jacob. Sometimes those plans include a wrestling match with him. Sometimes he lets you wrestle with his calling so that when you're finished, you are more convinced than before that this is truly his will for you. So go ahead and put up a bit of a fight if you want. Just know that in the end, God's way is always the best way. Lord, sometimes your will for me is hard and I don't want to do it. When that happens, help me to wrestle with you in faith and trust. All right, what a good one. What a good one, as always. So otherwise, with that, um, have a great Tuesday. God bless and keep it real. Saint Maria Goretti, pray for us. In the Father, Son, and Spirit. Amen.